ChatGPT is going to take your job. In all seriousness, it really probably is going to take your job, but you do have some time for ChatGPT to get to the point where it's really taking people's jobs. And it's also not going to be just ChatGPT. It's going to be other AI tools that comes in and takes individuals' jobs. Now, one of the jobs that it most closely is influencing and potentially going to be able to take over the most quickly is going to be copywriting. So, copywriting is essentially a job where you write things, correct? Like you just write, maybe it's sales copy, maybe it's marketing copy, maybe it's like bios, like all these different things where you're writing a bunch of text as a job title, as a career. ChatGPT will eventually and very quickly start to take over that job title. And it can already probably write copy just as good as you can. And I truly, truly believe that, especially on an emotional level. It is very, very good at being able to write things in a very feelings type of way. I don't know the word for that. Somebody put down in the comments below. What do you call that when we're trying to write something for somebody's feelings, right? I don't know that word. But basically, ChatGPT is really good at sounding good. And I've said it in other videos that like ChatGPT is basically a very good BSer, right? Because sometimes it's not good at data. So that's one of the things where you are still going to be in charge and you have time to adapt with the AI tools that are coming out. You can learn how to utilize this tool and it'll help you in your career versus you losing your job to this tool. So the one big advantage where it's extremely beneficial to you and it's going to really, really help you out in your career is you're going to be able to let this do majority of the legwork for writing copy. And what do I mean by that? Literally, ChatGPT will write sentences about things, right? So let's just jump into ChatGPT real quick and show you a quick example. So we'll go here and say, what is robotic automation? Okay, and you're seeing this thing spit out like a paragraph of text, and it's going to do it fairly quickly. This is extremely powerful. It's going to take off a ton of work that you have to do on a daily basis. Now, the thing where you are still very, very powerful and you are better than this software as of right now, this AI, is the proofreading, right? So, especially anything dealing with data or dealing with things that are very specified, right? If it's like general information, general ChatGPT can do well at handling it. But I'll just give you a good real-world example. Robotic automation refers to the use of software programs and robots to perform tasks that were previously performed by humans. Okay, so it wrote a good piece of copy, right? Now, let me say how many robots were deployed in 2022. Now, this goes back. It's too soon for its database. So I have a feeling it's going to spit back something like, I can't do that. Yeah, sorry. But I don't have the exact number of robots deployed in 2022. The development of robots vary depending on blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's say, what about 2020? In 2020, the development of industrial robots, code, blah, blah, blah. So you can talk to this thing very much in a human type of manner, but also it really points out a key thing about communication. It points out that humans are really good at understanding communication gaps. Like you think that humans are actually pretty bad at like communication gaps and create a lot of communication gaps when we talk to individuals and that we can't communicate well with one another. But when you use a tool like this, you really start to see it. You start to see how like if I left out this word, it gives you an output and it's not the answer you're looking for. And the reason is because you didn't give it the proper inputs. You didn't communicate to it appropriately. Okay. From the estimated 458,000 sold in 2019. Good deal. So let me just take this and let's go over to Google real quick and just ask it. What was my exact question? How many robots were deployed in 2022? Let's see if this data is accurate. So data checking, you have to do it regardless. Even if you think the data is accurate, you have to go look and see, because it is highly likely that it just spits out some BS information. Okay, roughly 400,000. So very, very close this time. So sometimes it can be good at this if it's like kind of just extracting general information from Google. So this thing's not live on Google right now. So like it's actually set aside. It's not scanning the internet anymore. And I don't know why they don't have it actively scanning the internet. Maybe it's just like some constraint that they don't want to learn from new data, and they want it to only utilize data that has been like analyzed by a human maybe. Or at least some level of analyzation. Whereas if you just say, hey, take stuff from the internet, it might start to like spit out even more false data, or does not have the time to be like validated or like proofread or anything like that, right? So this did give a pretty good example of the data being correct. But ChatGPT, if it doesn't necessarily have an answer, or it will spit back an answer to you, right? Regardless whether it is the actual correct answer or not. So for you and your job as a copywriter, you have to make sure to do the proofreading, and that's where your skill set will really lie. And also being able to do prompt engineering. I highly suggest you learn how to do prompt engineering, which is communicating with the AI, which means basically just improving your communication skills, right? And communicate your communication skills in a way that the AI understands, but also is a way to communicate with humans. Because one thing I noticed, if you talked with a human the way you do ChatGPT, there would be a lot less communication gaps when it comes to like meetings and things like that. So not only is prompt engineering going to teach you how to talk to the AI, but it's actually going to help you talk to humans better as well. It's really going to expose some things in communication to make you realize like, wow, like that's where the communication gap came from. Like if I would have spoke that to another human, that's why they may have been confused. And it's cool being able to see this thing immediately output something. You could teach yourself good communication skills like utilizing ChatGPT. Now, the next thing I would like to get into is job titles as a whole, right? The thing is, ChatGPT is going to really be focused around things that involve language. So it may be written word, it could be spoken word, and a lot of these tools are going to have to be built on top of ChatGPT, right? You're going to have like an app that inputs to ChatGPT and they can output and then receive those outputs, like maybe as audio. Maybe you can input as audio. There's already apps out there where you're able to do this, right? You're even able to, I think you can tie in Siri with ChatGPT. So you can say, hey Siri, blah, 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 whatever. I don't know how the exact command works with ChatGPT and whatnot, but you can input it something and then ChatGPT be able to output you back something. Now, I'm not sure exactly if the output right now is on an audio output or it's just giving you a text version of that output. But it really, with the tools that are already out there, it's not hard to copy text into a audio output. Like, let me see. I'd probably just go audio or text to audio. Text to audio. I mean, like that. Look, Murph.ai. So the thing about AI is AIs are all working on building out models that are very specific to individual things, right? So like text is one. Right here, text to audio is one. Images for like text to images is one. So like these are all different categories.
Back in 1779.
Create an account and everything, man. Let's see. We're doing this live, so I'm just going to show you guys an example of like how powerful these things are, especially when you pair the things together. Hopefully you're seeing this screen that I got going on here. Is like, notice like how like we're a systems integration company, right? We deal with robotics and the manufacturing industry. And if you're a manufacturer, like a lot of these things really won't apply to you, like a corporate trainer, a product owner, you know what I mean? Like you're none of these individuals, so you kind of just have to choose one. But the thing that I'm really trying to point out is that certain industries will have gaps in them, and it'll take quite a bit of time. Like if you see, this is for creators, right? And you clearly see that because of the different options that it gives us. Continue. So basically we just filled in like, hey, you don't have the option for me. So you're basically training this AI tool. Test 001. Okay. So notice there's different options right here that are gonna tell us like basically probably how do you want it to sound. Do you want it to be an audio ad? Let's go start blank, right? I really want to get to a point where I can just drop some text in this thing and say, enter your text here. Okay. So that's really cool. So like notice like this AI tool, like just very simply, I'm clicking a button and like how do you want this to come out? Like so maybe I wanted this script to be a little bit more like I'm gonna read off of it so I can manually read this script and it's just auto categorizing it for me. This is wild. Guys, I don't know if you guys think this is wild, but I think this is pretty wild. This is where AI is going to get that powerful. You're able to just go.
In 2020, the deployment of industrial robots was impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Many companies temporarily shut down their operations, causing a decline in demand for robots. However, the demand for robots in some industries, such as e-commerce, food and beverage, and pharmaceuticals, increased as a result of the pandemic. According to the International Federation of Robotics, an estimated 400,000 industrial robots were sold worldwide in 2020.
Guys, I mean, I think that right there, just like how easily and how simple I just went from ChatGPT into a text. Now, literally somebody could just, create another app on top of these that is a singular app. I talk to it. It talks to ChatGPT. ChatGPT then automatically takes this and plugs it into here and then outputs you an audio format. And we're going to be able to do the same thing. It's going to happen with video. It's going to happen with photos. It's already happening with photos. I don't think we're there with video yet, but I think that the tools are kind of already there. It's just not like accessible to the public, right? It's still things that are kind of under the radar and like people are still developing. But as you've seen with Lambda, I think it was. Let me see if I can just Lambda photo. Linda, I think, is what it is. Images. Let's just see. Maybe not. So what I'm looking up is the new AI tool that just went kind of viral. It's just an app. It's not even the AI, right? So it's just an app that I think it's Linda, though. I don't know. Point being is that it was the app where you were seeing everybody having animated photos. They looked like they were anime, and it was able to even generate like realistic looking photos. And it was all able to do that by providing it 10 photos, and then it provided back hundreds of photos to you that were AI generated. And so the same thing that we were able to do with this, I could take one small thought like this, what is a robotic automation? How many did they deploy? Boom, like that. Go over here, have the audio produced, go over to another app and have an image produced, and at some point in time a video produced. And now we literally just did a whole entire video with just AI basically just being slightly guided by a human to kind of like navigate it to do some other creative things. So just keep these things in mind. If there's any particular questions, if you think your particular job is at risk, or if you think if you want advice on how you should guide your career a little bit to embrace these type of tools, feel free to put them down in the comments below. I like to answer as many and all questions that I can. And really, we're making these videos for you guys because I know how disruptive this is going to be for our industry, and I want to help educate people on it. And also, I'm just now getting into AI myself because until now, AI was not accessible enough to worry about talking about it, right? It was just one of these future things. Now it's not future, it's the present, it's here now. So I'm spending a lot of my free time diving deep into AI. And I said this before, I'll say it again. AI is going to be like Bitcoin whenever it costs like 1 cent, right? If you see what the price of like Bitcoin is now, that's what AI is today. So AI is at 1 cent. Buy in now why nobody's on it, why it's still not a super hot item. Because what's going to happen, I'll tell you right now, what's probably going to happen, the hype of ChatGPT is going to be very big, and then it's going to fall off. And maybe you're going to gain like quite a bit of users. There's going to be a lot of users who use ChatGPT to write copy and things like that for their company, for their job. But then it's gonna go a little bit more silent. At least you're not gonna hear about it, right? People are not gonna talk about ChatGPT and whatnot until like the next hot one comes up. Either there's a competitor to ChatGPT, like Google's talking about launching, or maybe some other AI tool that's like super revolutionary. Maybe we're able to do like AI videos based on like images of myself. Maybe I can get some side shots, and then the AI can generate videos of me. And you're able to talk to it like, hey, sound angry when you're doing this thing, or sound very happy when you're doing this thing, or sound enthusiastic when you're doing this thing, right? And you'll be able to do like videos and stuff like that. Those will pop back up in the market. You'll see those become hot again. You'll see a bunch of hype around it and a bunch of people talking about it. So I would personally like to keep talking about ChatGPT, to keep talking about like automation and tools to automate your company and automate your job, and to project and to give you the resources to grow in your own career. So guys, thank you for watching this video. Hit the subscribe button, and for any other automation, manufacturing related videos or career videos, manufacturing come up as a place for that. Subscribe to this YouTube channel, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.